All right, YouTube. I know a few of you have been waiting for this video, so here we go. This is premium detailed Toyota. I think there's 28 or 29 vehicles here with probably 20, 21 or so different models. The brands are going to be Konami, Tomica Limited Vintage, Auto World, Hobby Japan, Kyosho, Stance Hunters, Inno 64, Para 64, BM Creations. This one here, I forget what it's called. I think it's GNC. Hikasi, Johnny Lightning. So a lot of different brands here and some different cars to talk about. I'm not going to go through each of them one by one. But this is a Konami Toyota Starlet that I weathered. I weathered this one. Honestly, I wouldn't have weathered this one. The reason I did is because these early Konami cars and Konami cars in general, I don't know if it was just the clear coat that they used or what, but it was cracking on the roof. And thankfully, with the Tamiya matte coat, it cleaned that up. But this was heading for problems. This is another Konami car. Not sure what the deal is with it. I've seen a few of them that have that issue. So, anyways, I weathered it. I don't regret it. I like it. I think it looks good. It's just a subtle dusting of the car. I'm not going to do that on all of my cars. In fact, not going to do it on most of the cars. This is another Konami. I did wheel swap it. These are Aoshima wheels. This is an Inno 64. This is actually a very expensive car now. It's really hard to find this one. But I altered it, so mine's probably not worth anything. I put a different base on it from a different release that allows it to roll. Because this release, the way the wheelbase was, it was log jammed and it wouldn't roll. I also switched out the interior, which I think makes this one cooler because it has the racing seats with the harnesses. And then the wheels, they are Inno 64 wheels, but when I switched the base out, it made this a very nice rolling car, which a lot of these Toyota 86s from Inno 64 do not roll at all. And this one rolls great, and it looks great. So I'm real happy with the way that came out. This is a Kyosho Toyota Supra. I started with the Hobby Japan. They were the first one to release this new Supra. Then I got the Kyosho. The Kyosho rolls a lot better, and I think the wheels on the Kyosho look a lot better. So, pretty happy with that. As a model, I'm happy with it. I'm actually not a big fan of the car. It's basically a BMW with Toyota badging. So that's kind of a bummer on that car. But they look good. I'll give them that. This is a TLV Crown Royal Saloon. This is a Mark. What is this one? Here, let me find the box. It's a 2.5 GT Toyota Mark II. Both of these ones. The thing with Tomica Limited Vintage is as time goes by, they get harder to find because TLV does a pretty limited production run on their cars, especially cars that they don't anticipate, being very good sellers. And so what happens is after a couple of years, they get pretty tough to find. They don't show up on eBay very often, and they can get up there in price. Like this one here is a perfect example of that. And this one's hasn't been out all that long, but it's already very hard to find on eBay. And it's between 80 and 120 when you find it. And this one is the Chaser 2.5. Sorry for the shaky camera, guys. No tripod. This is the Auto World Toyota Supra. So if Auto World doesn't produce the crap out of this tooling, which it looks like they're going to, because they've already released six or eight actually, different colorways. If they put the brakes on it, I think it could climb. It's like the square bodies are pretty worthless from Auto World just because they've done, I don't know, probably hundreds of thousands of them. This is a Toyota Aristo, but it was known in the United States as the Lexus GS 350. And Hobby Japan is going to release this with the Lexus badging, from what I've heard. So when they do that, I will replace this with that one, because I do like the Lexus cars. Here's an example. This is a Tomica limited vintage Lexus IS. What is this? IS 200? Yes, IS 200. It's an awesome little car. It's a I don't know if it's an Indonesian exclusive or a China exclusive, but the casting was made to be released as the Toyota Altezza, but this particular exclusive release was with the Lexus badging. They did two colors. And I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see this released again from TLV. I wouldn't be surprised if we do, but I don't know, for some reason I feel like every time we see this car, it's going to be with the Toyota badging. So I'm glad I picked that one up. You can still find the white one. The silver one is pretty tough to find. So this is the MR2. I did a video on this a couple videos back. I don't really recall the brand, but this is a super nice car. The headlights rotate up and down. Great detail, great stance. I love this car. It's one of my favorite models of all of these. Over here we have some of the 4x4s with the Lexus LX450, which is basically an 80 series Land Cruiser. It's the same tooling as this one here. It just has the Lexus colorway as well as the Lexus trim. I really hope someone does the LX470. Hikasi, this is a Toyota 100 series Land Cruiser. So this would be the LX470. I would love for them to release this with the Lexus trim package, because that's the vehicle that I owned. And then here we have a 70 series, which I'm not all that familiar with because I don't think we ever had these in the United States. I don't ever in my life remember seeing one of these in person. The 60 series, we definitely had a ton of those here. Still see them. Very expensive, but it's my all-time favorite body style of the Toyota Land Cruiser. The red one is Hobby Japan. That blue one there is a BJ40 made by Johnny Lightning. It's a 1980. Here is the Inno 64 60 series. So a little bit cleaner fit and finish in my opinion than the Hobby Japan, but you do get a sprung suspension with the Hobby Japan. You don't get that with the Inno 64. I did I did paint the wheels on this, so they come chrome out of the package. I just sprayed them silver because I like it toned down a little bit. And then this row here, these 4 or 5 trucks are all trucks that I have customized. I guess we'll start with this BM Creation. I didn't have to lift this one. I just weathered it and wheel swapped it. You do have to glue the rack on top though if you want it. It comes as a separate piece. One of the cool things about this casting, actually there's a couple of cool things. I'm not a big fan of the opening doors, but a lot of you guys might be. But it has suspension, even with the big tires on it. It's got great suspension, nice roller, and you know, it's a cool off-road Toyota. And that's basically what I was going for with all of these. This next one, I'm going to actually move the Corolla. So this one is the 80 series. And it's basically this one here. They released the stock model, and then they did an assortment of off-road models that have basically more aggressive all-terrain tires. They have the skid plate on the front, the brush guard, safari rack, light bar. When I got this, the safari rack is shouldn't have passed quality control. And so, because it was so jacked up, I just thought, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and weather it. Plus, it was right around the time I was starting to get into the weathering, and I hadn't done any premium detailed stuff. I, at that point, had only done, like, green light cars. But I like the way it came out. It's not my favorite, but when you put this on a dirt road diorama, it looks really cool. So, all in all, I'm pretty happy with it. And this kind of spawned like all of these, you know, like all the off-road ones that I did. So after that one, the next one that I did was the Inno 64. Now I bought 2 of each of these. I got 2 of this one and 2 of the blue one, just because I wanted a lifted, more custom example, weathered, and also a stock clean one. So this one, in my opinion, doesn't look quite as good with the green light wheels and tires. May switch those out at some point. I've been using the Auto World wheels and tires because they just look so much better. They give you such a better result, and they take the weathering pigment so much better. So here's the blue one. I added the rack. It's a die-cast rack, unlike all the other racks you see, which are all plastic. This is a die-cast rack from American Diorama. And yeah, this is one of my favorite 4x4s in my collection. I've got a Blazer that I did that I like a lot. I've got that Chevy van, and this one. They're probably my 3 favorite. I really like this one. I was gonna lift this one, but it's not conducive to lifting. At least not with my method. My method of lifting this would require aluminum tubing resting on the bottom of the leaf spring, and that would give it a ridiculous lift. It would be way too high. So I'm not going to lift that one, but I really like the way this one came out. And here is a good stock and custom example. Although I did, when I painted these wheels, I did put the all-terrain tires on it. These are the tires that came off of that one there. So it still has a little bit of an aggressive look to it. But I just love the body style of this. It's like a 4x4 station wagon almost. You know, it's part of why I like those old Jeep Cherokees so much and the Grand Wagoneers. This kind of fits that mold. The front end on it is great. I love the round headlights. Nice paint job. And this is just my take on it. I like both. All right. This next one actually happened after I did the Blue 60 series. I started looking at the Para 64 70 series, and I was contemplating doing this one here, but it's a metallic silver. Metallic colors don't weather as nicely as enamels, so I was real hesitant to do it. But I was looking at the base, and the base is definitely workable. You know, you can definitely use my method of lifting the truck with this base because of the symmetrical axles. So what I did, because that is such a cheap casting, I bought the white one. And you can get this right now for like $15. So I bought the white one, and I lifted it just using my aluminum tubing method, and I put the Auto World Safari rack on. It fits perfect. It's nice and straight on top there. I weathered the rack as well, and this one just kind of went with a dusty look. You know, white's a hard color when you're going for just dusty. It's an easy color if you're going for like rust and stuff like that, but and you know, then it was a matter of, do I want the black wheels or the silver wheels? But I ended on the black wheels. I just think, you know, I'm not a big fan of black wheels in 1-64, but they do look good on white vehicles. So really happy with the way this one came out. The only thing I got to do is get the spare tire on, and in order to do that, I need to remove the hub from the spare in order for it to slide onto that. And then once I do that, it'll be good to go. But I think it looks really cool. Almost looks like an Isuzu Trooper or something like that. A real squared off, very, very late 90s, late 80s, early 90s look to that truck. This is the Stance Hunters FJ. Much cleaner and much nicer than the BM Creations. But what's funny about that is the Stance Hunters, they need to keep hunting for the stance because they didn't get it on this one. I think that the BM Creations did a much better job on the stance, but on the casting itself, Stance Hunters did a much better job with the model. So I like this. I was gonna lift this one, but opted not to. Opted to try the BM Creations, and I'm glad I did. This one, not doable. Not doable at all. with my method of doing the lift. So what else do we have here? Okay, the casting that I was waiting on to do this video, that it got hung up in Indiana for some reason, coming from China, or might have come from Hong Kong. Either way, it came from Asia and it got hung up in Indiana. So it took almost a full month, I think, for me to get it. And that is the Tomica limited vintage Toyota Hilux. I love this truck. These are going to be expensive. I would grab these now while they're as cheap as they are. These are going to be expensive trucks. If you look at the other the other 4x4s that Tomica Limited Vintage has done, with the possible exception of the Mitsubishi Pajero, because they've done quite a few of those, but like the Nissan Patrol, the Toyota Land Cruiser, they get pretty expensive, and I think this will be another one that gets pretty expensive. But again, it all depends on how many times they release it. It always boils down to that, regardless of whether it's Greenlight or Auto World, but especially with Greenlight and Auto World though. But look at the detail on this casting. It's just an awesome truck, and this is not a truck that was ever available here in the United States, but I know the Hilux is a very, very popular truck in other places around the world. It's just really cool. I mean, you can look at it, you know right away when looking at it that it's a Toyota. It has a very Tacoma look. In fact, I think it might be built on the same platform as the Tacoma. So hopefully, what I want to see, and I don't care which brand does it, whether it's TLV or Inno64, Hobby Japan, any of these brands, I want to see a Toyota 4Runner. And at this point, I don't even care what generation. Just give me a 4Runner, preferably like an early 90s, mid 90s body style. Like that would be my first choice. But at this point, I would take a first gen or a last gen. I don't care. Just any 4Runner. Now, as far as these three TLV cars go, this is the Crown Royal Saloon. Stupid amount of detail on these cars and a stupid amount of quality. They all have suspension. It's all metal body, metal base. It's all lensed headlights and tail lights. Sorry for the shaky camera. Side view mirrors, prototypical wheels. The wheels are the one thing that I feel like TLV can improve on in a lot of cases. Some of their wheels are good, but some of them are not. When you look at this car here, these are very nice wheels. They're open spoke. Very nice wheels, very nice model. This was available in 2 colors. They also did some other releases of this that were not the GT. So they had the stock spoked wheels. But to me, they didn't look nearly as nice. The thing with the GT is it has the gray rocker panel on both this one and the white one. And it just really gives it a nice look. And then the Chaser, now that's the thing about the Chaser GT, is the wheels too. That's why this one is so hard to find. You can find this casting all day long for $30 or so on eBay, but you're not going to find the GT with the 5-spoke wheels for that price. So I bought this the same time I bought the IS, and I timed those, basically timed them right, because they are pretty difficult to find now, and I only got those like 6 months ago. Love this one here too. It's a nice roller, Hobby Japan. Nice body lines on that car. Just a big four-door sedan. I drive a Toyota Avalon, so I love that big, comfortable, smooth ride with the powerful V6 engine. I love my Avalon. I'll drive that car like I did my LX. I'll drive it until it's no longer drivable. But yep, of all of these, this is probably my favorite replica. But I do favor the 4x4s. I love the LX 450. I love the dusty Land Cruisers, whether it's the 60 series, 70 series, or 80 series. I love all those. I may make an off-road trail diorama for the 60, 70, and 80 series. I think that would be a cool display. Maybe throw an FJ on there as well. But this car is super, super nice. I wish I had good lighting. Good lighting makes such a difference. Like when you look at WTF FOR's videos, he'll show, like for example, he showcased the Lincoln Continental from Auto World, and his looked so much better than mine, and it was all just because of his lighting. But this is a cool car. You don't see a lot of cars that have that headlight feature. And it's just a little lever right here. Puts them up or down. And it's so clean too. Like the shut lines on them are so clean. I mean, this is a very nicely designed little diecast car. Maybe should have got a lighter color, but I don't regret this one at all. And that's pretty much it. Also, I guess the last one is this Toyota Century. I could see myself buying one of these, especially now that you can import like the 90. Well, shit, I think we're getting all the way into what, 97 now? Is that right? 13? No. Yeah, wait. So it's 2022, so 22. Yeah, it is. 1997. So with the import laws, you could bring one of these into the States legally now. These Centuries are like super exclusive cars. Like they're for diplomats, government officials. I don't even know if these are available to the public. But it's basically Toyota's equivalent to like a Rolls Royce. So, and they're very affordable. I think you could pick one of these up, 15,000 maybe, with low miles. So, yeah, if you want to see a Toyota Century, go to YouTube and watch Jay Leno's Garage Toyota Century. It's a crazy car. Like curtains, like the seats open up so you can stick your legs through as a footrest. They're very huge, very luxurious, very comfortable. So that's pretty much it though, guys. My favorites of all of these, obviously I love the lifted 60 series. I love the LX 470. I love the MR2. Those are probably my top three, but I love the LC 100 too, the Hikasi. And yeah, that's probably about it. So there you go. A half hour of premium detailed 1:64 scale Toyotas. And I will holler at you all at the next Diecast video.